So some speciality we have in Siddha, that is basically in the potentization as well as in the alchemy, the making medicine with strong poisons.
シッダ医療、ベーシックな哲学は一緒なんだけれども、シッダ医療の方が薬の効果をもっと強く、引き出す特徴があってでそれ自体はもうアルケミーの領域で、アルケミーは錬金術の領域で、さらにそのパーシャナ is like outside medicine.
パーシャナ is poisonous medicine.
ポイズン。その毒のあるものを薬に変換するやり方をたくさん持ってるのも、シッダです。だからアイルベーダにないテクニックがあるのがシッダ。The history goes back to
Sorry?
The history of Siddha medicine goes back to when?
Is the Siddha medicine basically started from Shiva to his son Subramanya or Muruga, and from Muruga it go to Agastya.
So more than 10,000.
No doubt.
No doubt. シバ神から始まってるものなので、今1年前って言えばそうかもだけど、もっと前 From Shiva to?
Shiva to his son Muruga, Subramanya or Velayudha.
息子のムルガ、
ムルガとアガスティア聖者が
で、ムルガからアガスティア聖者に伝えられたのがこのシッダメディスン。もう歴史がないような。ガネーシャの兄弟、ムルガン。ムルガ is the brother of Ganesha.
Yes.
Karen, do you have any question?
Not about the subject of today, but I have a question. That you told, but I don't know if it's allowed in the context because it's another little bit other subject. It's, you told we should better cook on gas instead of electricity, but we are not allowed anymore. Nowadays they forbid it to use the gas more and more in new kitchens, and now they have the induction cooking more than the electric, and this induction cooking is working with magnetic fields. I wonder whether that is safe. I think like the magnetron is influencing the pranic field of the food, and I wonder whether induction cooking is also damaging the pranic field of the food.
なんか電気の調理器はこう物質に変化を及ぼしちゃわないんですか？使っててもいいんですか？
It's a very interesting question, not related with our today's class, but it is a very, very eminent question connected with food and thing. We have very widely studied about the color and its effect. Like fire is the color of morning rising sun. That is considered to be the best fire. So in Ayurveda and Siddha, we are not allowed to use different kinds of new type techniques to heat the oil, like what you say, the induction cooker, and the different kinds of new generation. We have different kinds of oils, which we call, like water you can boil up to, heat up to 100 things. There are certain kinds of thermal fluid where you can increase the temperature up to 400 degree, and by using that overheat you can cook things. So here we use the word paga. That means if you are interested to keep the paga, you should go in mild fire. You are not supposed to use 400 degrees. But when the greed comes, when it is business come, you are not interested to go through old system, you are interested to make the profit, then you will be able to use the new generation technique. And to us, like in the microwave oven, if you put some strong bacteria or virus along with the food you cook, you can see the bacteria or virus is not going to be killed. They will be alive. whereas the food will be cooked well, whereas the E. coli bacteria which will invite diarrhea, if you put the E. coli bacteria along with some food, the food will be good, bacteria will not be died. So it is not a healthy way to cook. We are dead against that. We are interested to cook only with firewood or some other tick. Otherwise, we will use some cooking medium that the cow's shit. We will dry it and we are allowed to use that. And it is a very important thing. If you want us to talk about that, it is a big subject. But blue color flame. Blue is related with the poison. Poison. So we are not interested in, if the flame is not blue in the gas, we are worried. But we are not allowed to cook with the blue flame because blue will invite some poison. So it is always the best method is to cook with firewood or the sheath of the dried sheath of cow. It's a big subject. We can speak hours, but in a nutshell, I conclude it like this.
Is the induction cooking even worse than
It is
electric
worse.
cooking?
It is worse. It is an electron gun. This electron gun will emit strong electron and it will bombard the electrons, and when the bombardment will make some heat.
Yeah,
It is not the right method. We are dead against, but we will use in some cases, but it is not the right thing. For food cooking, Ayurvedic medicine, you should use either the dried sheath or fire.
You can get a lot of shit from here.
You can get. But it should be in dried form.
Yes. 彼の質問に対して今日話してないことからの質問だっていうことは非常に興味深いことですと前向きがあった上で火というのは日の出の色じゃないが一番ベストっていうふうに言ってて、日の出の赤色みたいなのがベストなカラーで、だからそこから考えるとニュータイプのテクニックの、電子機器的な電子レンジを含めたものとかは全部アイルベーダは良くないっていうふうに言っていて、水もこう徐々に温めるのが良いんだけど、でもそこに、ビジネス絡んで利益が絡んでくると一気に100度まで上げたりするような方法が取られたりするんだけれども、例えば電子レンジは食べ物はクックされてもバクテリアは死なないんだって。だから私たちの健康にもそんなに良くない方法で、あと電気の方もその電圧をかけて熱を起こしているので、食事の中のその電子の動きにも悪い影響を及ぼしてしまうので、本来は良くないから、アイルベーダの薬は最低そういう自然な火で、もしくは牛の糞を乾燥させたやつを使ってやる。それでガスの青い火の色は6の色なんですって。Our gas fire is all blue.
That is right.
うんって言ってる。
If you have a strong skin disease called leprosy or a kind of strong psoriasis, you will have to cook rice with using neem wood, with new clay pot. Every 20 days you have to change the clay pot and you are supposed to eat this. So if you do that, the 100% it will go. If you have to continue for a certain time, but it is written in the text, you will have to use clay pot, you will have to use neem firewood, nothing else. So in many medicine making, the text say you have to use certain herb, certain firewood from certain thing. It is mentioned. It is not a foolish thing, but it is an experienced truth. Like we use a kind of metal which we make Ayurvedic medicine to make bronze metal. That bronze metal, when you cook it, make it by, you have to use only the jackfruit tree. And in the jackfruit tree, if you remove the outer shell, it will be looking like golden color. The jackfruit inside, we call the core. You are supposed to use only the core portion if you want to get the golden color for the pot. If you use the old firewood, it will be dark. So certain golden color, you have to use golden firewood. Still we are doing that.
感染症みたいな重い皮膚病の人のための治療としてアイルベーダで言われているのは、その人が食べるお米を炊くのにニームの木で炊かないといけない。でかつクレーポットにでクックしなきゃいけないんだけど、クレーポットも20日ごとに変えなきゃいけないっていうやり方が書かれていますと。でなんでどんな木を使うかっていうのももちろん大事で、アイルベーダでは他にも真鍮の鍋で薬を作るのが良いとされているんだけれども、真鍮の鍋をですね間違った木で火を起こしてしまうと黒くなっちゃうんですって。でもこれジャックフルーツの木らしいんだけど、このジャックフルーツの木の中心部で火を起こすとブロンズの真鍮の鍋は金色のまま。
We have very famous Krishna temple in Orissa called Puri Jagannatha temple, and this god doesn't like the same food next day. He wants fresh every day. He needed different food. So in Puri Jagannatha temple, Orissa is a very famous place for rice. So in Puri Jagannatha every day he need special rices. The rice he eat today, he won't eat the same. So connected with the temple, there are some farmers. They cook this rice for the temple, and they will go and they will give. Every 365 days, 365 different types of rices are needed, and that the prasada, the offering to the god, will be donated. It is a very tasty dish, and which will last 2-3 days. And thousands of devotees are coming. The temple cannot do the old style of cooking which was on the mud pot. Temple tried to make it with stainless steel, different kinds of carbon thing, but within 6-7 hours the food become bad. It started to give bad smell. So they have tried all the existing scientific methods by inviting so-called scientific people with steam, thermal fluid, different like electronic gun, different thing, everything was failed. Traditionally, to the temple, there are some people who belong to the clay pot making community. They will make it free of cost for the Lord. For them, it is a very great honor. And they make a typical clay pot. And if you cook in that clay pot, only it will stay. And still today, in Puri Jagannatha temple, big clay pot, nowhere you will see. It is only used because you use any metal. So for cooking food, we consider, and with firewood also. With firewood also. It is going.
How big is that clay pot?
Sorry?
How big is that clay pot?
It is quite big. I have not seen with my eyes. It is quite big. You have many fire with this.
Because cooking with a big clay pot is quite difficult, isn't it?
That is right. But if you are trained with that, you can do that. But once upon a time it was that we have big pots like this still available with the 200 liters, something like that.
200 liters? ですね、南インドにタミルにはプリージャガナートテンプル
Puri.
プディ
The chariot festival of Puri is world famous. The god will go to another temple and millions of people will come. That is considered to be the biggest chariot festival.
Is it in Kerala?
It is in Orissa, North India.
オリサにあるプリジャガナートテンプルっていうところが、すごく有名なテンプルなんだけれども、このみこしみたいなのをこうバーって運んで、そのためにみんながすごいインド中から見に来るみたいないうところらしいんだけど、そのテンプルの神様クリシュナ神なんだけれども、ここのクリシュナ神は毎日違うご飯じゃないと嫌みたいで、365日違うご飯を作る。でそれでなんでそのライス作る人とクレーポット専用のクレーポット作る人たちみたいなのがいて、そのクレーポットもお寺だと振る舞わなきゃいけないから大量に作りたいんだけど、そのクレーポットが大きいと割れやすかったりするけど、そこの人たちはもうその方法を知ってて、結構大きいクレーポットで クックしてるらしくて、でその方法でやるとその作ったご飯が 2,3 日持つですって。でお寺の人は時代が進んでクレーポットじゃなくてなんか違うステンレスの鍋とか違う方法でやろうとしたらもう 6,7 時間で腐ってしまうっていうことがあったから、もう今もクレーポットでやってるっていうことですね。でそれもちゃんと木で火炊いてます。
The paka, the format, like if you cook rice, it will come like rice, like what we eat. If you cook little more too much, it will come to porridge. If you go little more, it is called pool. It is a kind of paste form, not the paste form. So these are different of paga. Unless you know about the paga, you may cook rice, it will not be cooked. If you cook, it will be rice instead of kanji. So if you give water and give it is a porridge, if it is not come to the paga, it will not be tasty and won't fulfill the right methods. So in hot temperature, when the temperature is very hot, we have many methods to tackle that. That is called a kind of kuru with a small millet called ragi, which is very effective. Once you drink a glass of this ragi cool in hot temperature, within 1 minute the natural air conditioner in your system will start. Your body will feel cool. For all these things you have to use the paga, in which you have to use some firewood, not only things. So it is a very important thing, but people in the speedy life may not be able. But as long as we can avoid the microwave and avoid this electronic gun as much as possible.
パーカを知らなければ例えばお米も炊くことができない。ちゃんとご飯にはご飯を炊くパーカがあって、それよりも炊きすぎてしまうとおかゆになってしまう。でそれよりも炊きすぎるともうなんかドロッとしてしまう。でまあおかゆにはおかゆのパーカがあるので、そういうのを、知るのが大事ですと。で、ラギをなんか正しい温度で調理をすると、それを食べると暑い時期に食べるともう1時間で体の中にクーラーができたようにクールダウンするっていう風に言ってて、まあ、それもちゃんと木で正しいパーカーで炊けばそうなるんです。でもまあ私たちはスピードが速くなってるし、できる限り、電子レンジは避ける、電気の調理器を避けるっていうことはいいと思います。なんかありますか？よかったみたいな感じかな。Yes, we can finish.
Okay, thank you.